Are you ready, sir? Okay. Good morning. It is 9 a.m. and I'm going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. Secretary, if you could take roll call.
Yes. Commissioner Obenshain,
Here.
Commissioner Beck,
Here.
Commissioner Carrillo,
Here.
Commissioner Manus, Commissioner Taylor,
Here.
Secretary Ingham is here, Vice Chair Gibson,
Here.
and Chair Burt.
Here.
And should I see if Sharon?
Yeah.
Sharon, Secretary, Commissioner Klasushilich.
Not present.
Not
Okay.
present.
Great. So that's a quorum of 7 and we have everyone present. So until Lucy, just let us know if a commissioner joins and then we'll start doing roll calls again. But otherwise, we'll just be able to move forward without that, unless we need to. Okay. Commissioner Obenshain, if you don't mind leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance and salute to next to the flag. To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
With the flag of the state of Mexico, be a symbol of perfect friendship among united cultures.
Thank you. All right, for item number 2, I'm going to ask to add item 6A to the agenda today. So it'll be report from PEC liaison from the Legislative Education Study Committee, and we will add that to the agenda after the consent agenda. So I will move, if there's no other changes, I'll move to approve the agenda with that addition. Thank you. There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, the ayes have it. Item number 3, public comment. Ms. Valenzuela, thank you.
Good morning, everyone. We have 2 people signed up for public comment, one online and one in person. The online person is Ms. Jana Olguin, and I am promoting her to the panel.
Russ.
Oh, by video. Oh, no. I don't know why my camera is not working.
No problem. No problem. Can hear you. Hear you.
Okay. Good morning. The public deserves transparency, lawful compliance, and an authorizer that fulfills its duty. Alma has shown repeated pattern of non-compliance, disregard for law, and misrepresentation of transparency. It is time for the PEC to do its job and impose serious enforcement measures and hold Alma accountable. To ignore these violations any longer is to fail in your legal and ethical obligations as the authorizing body. When is CSD and the PEC going to do their job and ensure that Alma complies with the webcasting statute NMSA 22-8B-5.5? The law is not a suggestion, it is the law. That statute clearly requires, quote, live audio and video webcast of governing body meetings shall be accessible through the charter school's website and shall include a user interface that allows members of the public to submit written or verbal comments. Recordings of the webcast and an electronic copy of any minutes approved of the meeting shall be posted on the charter school's website within 1 week of the meeting conclusion and shall be publicly available for at least 5 years. But here's the reality. Public access has been denied multiple times: September 27th, October 21st, November 18th, April 11th, and August 18th, with documented proof that rejection messages stating, quote, no one responded to your request to join the call. That's not access, that's a lockout. Recordings and minutes are not posted within 1 week as required. Justice delayed is transparency denied. Live streams are often incorrect, missing, or linked to past meetings. A broken link is not compliance. When the recordings do exist, the audio is garbled, video fails, and the public is left in the dark. This isn't transparency, it's censorship by incompetence. A commissioner attended Alma's meeting, yet there was no effort to confirm whether members of the public wish to comment per the webcasting statute. Silence is not oversight, it is complicity. Transparency failures go deeper. Financial reports are missing for all of last year or duplicated across multiple months the previous year. Copy paste is not accountability. Board agendas and minutes omit contracts and policies that bylaws require 72 hours in advance. Hidden documents mean hidden decisions. Requests for information are met with obstruction. Stonewalling is not transparency.
That's fine. That's fine.
Thank you.
And the next speaker is in the room, and Ms. Warner, you can come up to the desk.
Thank you for your help. For the record, my name is Karen Warner, WOERNER. Chair Burt, Vice Chair Gibson, and Commissioners, thank you for allowing me to speak to you today. I'm here on behalf of Explore Academy and Explore Academy Rio Rancho to make a request regarding an item on your agenda, specifically item number 8, the amendment request for Explore Academy Las Cruces. As you know, that school's governing council has decided to take the school in a different direction, as is its purview and right. They're asking for approval to cut the high school program and vacate the Del Rey building, of which they've already done. But in the process, the school has also significantly changed the educational program as intended and described in the charter contract. Most folks here today are aware that the Explore model was designed to be a college preparatory high school. Then, due to the rather difficult adjustment that students were having with that unique model transferring from traditional schools, this body approved adding lower grades so that a way to prepare students for the rigor associated with the short 22-day seminars or flavors that begin in the 8th grade, leading to what we call majors courses offered to upperclassmen and required for graduation. In light of Explore Academy Las Cruces' desire to separate and change the model, along with other concerns regarding how that transition was handled, Explore Academy and Explore Academy Rio Rancho respectfully ask that the school also change its name and logo. By not doing so, the local community, and frankly the entire state, including the divisions here at the PED, continue to associate Explore Academy Las Cruces with the other schools in the state that have a similar name. This creates confusion and misleads potential students and families into thinking that it's the same type of school as the others, and it is not. The school is clearly on a different vision, path, and education program for simply grades K through 8, and therefore we ask that the name and logo be changed to reflect that, and I thank you for your consideration in supporting that. In closing, please know that school leaders and governing council members from Explore Academy are online, but we're not able to be here in person, but I wanted to come up to speak to you in person. Thank you.
Thank you. And I did hear that Commissioner Manus is online now, so get your paper ready again. We got through one.
Do this.
All right, item number 4, school highlights and spotlight, no discussion or action taken. Commissioner Beck?
Yeah, if anybody has nothing to do tonight, they can go to the Isotopes game because they're honoring Albuquerque Sign Language Academy and Ray Martinez tonight. So that's just really exciting. It's been promoted really well in the city, and I bet you it's going to be a great evening.
Commissioner Obenshain?
Yes, I just wanted to give a shout out to Charter Muir, who just retired or resigned, is moving to a different position. Robert Beatty, I don't know if you know him from RFK Charter School, is resigning as the director and moving on to foundation, I believe. But he was considered by many the godfather of charter schools. He was around forever. I worked at Harrison Middle School in APS, and we did a lot of outreach with RFK, and he was just kind of a mentor for me. So I just wanted to give a shout out to Robert.
Commissioner Correa?
I want to give a shout out, please, and are you ready, Ms. Valenzuela? Ms. Valenzuela has pictures.
Okay. He's good.
Here we go.
He is a good man, sorry.
We just want to look at some of these pictures. So this was Thursday. a week ago Thursday was opening day at Sun Mountain Community School. And I know there was opening day also down in, maybe, I don't know if you were able to make it down to Sacramento or over to Sacramento, but it was just like the sweetest, most wonderful morning with, and you can see some pictures here. If you could scroll up a little bit, that'd be great. You can see some pictures here. Oh, I'm sorry, scrolling down to get more of the photographs. And kind of the ceremony, all the children coming in and putting a flower in the welcome arch. All of the parents gathering around, just divided by classrooms. K1, K1, no, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. And I don't know if you guys know this, but they only have 2 seats available in grade 6. Otherwise, it's a waiting list for them. So they've knocked it out of the park that way. But it was just really sweet. And you can see on the left side, there's a band there that was playing some traditional African music regarding kind of peace and family and stuff. I mean, everything you'd expect from Sun Mountain on opening day. But it was just super special. And one of the things, and I talked to Jonathan about this, the headmaster there, is for us to take a field trip on some day when we're ending early, whether it's the Thursday or the Friday, because they go to 3:30 every day of the week, no matter what. But it'd be great to be there when there's kids there. But to just have a small group of us, or who cares, just go over there and see it. It's like seeing Collins Lake, being there. You feel it. And so we're going to try to do that sometime in September or October. But I think it'd be a really great opportunity for all of us. And I congratulate them, and I congratulate Sacramento School of Science and Engineering. Thank you. Thank you, Lucy.
I'll just give a quick shout out. Estancia Valley Classical Academy had a welcome luncheon, and they invited a bunch of community members to come see the school, see what they're doing. It's really, I always love going to visit them because not only are they in my district, but it was one of the schools that I've seen when I worked at the PED and got to visit so many schools. I saw them in portables doing their flag ceremony outside. Freezing cold, rain, didn't matter. They had all the students outside, and now they have this really incredible property with a gym. I got to learn about a new, actually, I wish I remembered what it was. The new game that kids are playing at recess nowadays, which sounds very dangerous and very 90s, which made me really happy for them. But it was a really cool experience to go see what their plans are, how they're doing. Their governing board is so involved with all of their operations and looking at long-term financial planning, and they understand where the school wants to go. It was just a really cool experience, and they invited a bunch of legislators to come talk to the schools.
Smart.
Very smart. So once again, just always encouraging schools, host an event, host a little lunch, invite legislators, come talk to them about what your needs are. They had their financial needs for paving the parking lot for their kids, they had that as asked, so they're very clear what they needed from the legislature. It was a really smart thing for the governing council and the school to do. So just saying thank you to Estancia Valley for inviting me. Always love coming to visit their school, and encouraging all schools to host legislators to come to your school, actually get them on your property, talk to them, let them know what your needs are. Because the legislators that were there are very receptive, when they're actually physically present. It changes from a hypothetical ask to real students. And so just want to keep encouraging schools to keep doing it's a little bit extra effort, but I think it pays off greatly when it comes to getting people who are making decisions up in Santa Fe to have some tangible feelings about what they're making decisions on. So it was just a really cool lunch. That community out there, they make great food.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's good food. And they're all just really involved, and that community really loves that school, which is cool. Commissioner Gibson?
Well, speaking of Estancia Valley Classical Academy, I wanted to give a shout out because on the consent agenda is Roger Leonard, who's leaving the GC. He was a founder and has been on the board since the inception. So just always want to thank people for all of that time and effort and energy. And he helped lead that school through that incredible building program. So I just want to say thank you for offering that consistency and continuity and dedication to the board.
All right. That takes us to item 5, which is the consent agenda. If nobody has any items to remove from the consent agenda, I will go ahead and move to approve the consent agenda.
Second,
Thank you. There's a motion and a second. Go ahead and go take roll.
Okay, the Commissioner Carrillo,
Yes.
Commissioner Manis,
Yes.
Commissioner Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Obenshain,
Yes.
Beck,
Yes.
Secretary Ingham, yes. Vice Chair Gibson.
yes.
Chair Burt
Yes.
and, Commissioner Klasushilich, not there. So it's 8 to nothing.
Great. Motion passes. And actually, I will go ahead and do item 7 first, and then we'll do the LESC presentation. I wasn't thinking about all these people. Lucy, am I passing this back to you for head administrators? Director Russell?
Yeah. Except
Missy?
for,
Madam Chair, we have one head administrator here in person, Crystal Avalos from South Valley Preparatory,
Yeah.
and the other 3 are on
Online.
Zoom.
Well, Crystal, we'll get to know you first since you came to see us. Come- Yeah. Come on, yeah.
Allowed, you can do this.
Sure.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Thanks for being in our school down there. My hood is not my district, but it's still my hood.
Nice to meet you. Hi, I'm Missy. Nice to meet you. Do I say?
yeah,
Okay.
just in case they might have questions.
Oh, dear.
All right, yeah, since we have you first, we'll get to the online. If you want to start pulling the online folks onto the panel. So nice to meet you. Please tell us about yourself a little bit.
Well, I'm a native New Mexican, so I grew up in the Northeast Heights. Graduated from Sandia, go Matadors. I've been in education for more than 12 years. I'm very passionate about the work that we do in schools, and I feel very honored to have been chosen to work with South Valley Prep. And I'm really nervous right now. So
Commissioner Beck.
I apologize for this question in advance, but what year did you graduate Sandia?
I graduated in 2007.
2007. Okay, I had a daughter in 2002, son 2004, son in 2009, and daughter in 2011. So you're right in between them.
There we go. It's a small world. Oh, wow. I was in band. So I didn't just, band is still a sport though, just saying. Yeah.
So can I ask you a question? What attracted you to South Valley Prep?
So at the very beginning of my teaching journey, I started in the South Valley. So I worked at Pajarito, I worked at Kit Carson, George I. Sanchez. And so there was a year that I taught abroad. I was in Abu Dhabi. And when I returned, that's when I started to work in charter schools. And once I got the taste of charter, I was like, ooh. And so after transitioning to administration, I went back to APS and went back to the Northeast Heights in the North Valley. But once this, so I think it was maybe about 3 years ago, there was a community school conference with APS and South Valley Prep came and they blew it out of the water with their community school coordinator. So shout out to Tatiana. I told my community school coordinator, I said, that's a model school for community school because they were doing so many things. And so that school was just always in the back of my mind in regards to community school. And when the opportunity arose, I was like, I have to apply. I want to go back, and so it was so funny because the third interview, there was an alumni from South Valley Prep that was there. And I was like, well, she looks so familiar. And so towards the end, I was like, hey, did you go to Pajarito? She's like, yeah, Miss Avalos, you were my first grade teacher. That was 12 years ago. And I was like, talk about a full circle moment. And so that's why I know I'm meant to be at South Valley Prep, because I started teaching there and now here I am getting to be a part of that community again. So I'm very, very excited.
So, thank you. This is my neighborhood also. I live right by Polk Elementary or Polk Middle School. I would encourage you, if you're really into the community school idea, Polk is doing fabulous work with, especially with agriculture. And it's a small middle school, but we're very involved with the community there. And I'm going to say it would be lovely to see a collaboration. Admittedly, side of the river, which is difficult, I know. But if you meet them, I can give you some contacts with them, and I think you would really be blessed by that.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah.
Well,
Any other-
congratulations. Thank you so much for coming up and meeting us.
Yeah,
We
thank
know
you.
CSD is going to be available to help with anything you ever could possibly need. So feel free to reach out. They're just a great team over here that's there to support you. So
Awesome.
thank you.
Thank you.
And stay for your whole career.
Yeah.
Just hang out.
That's the plan. Thank you.
Thank you.
So next we have Dr. Morgan Wilson, and she's via Zoom.
Good morning, everyone. I am Dr. Morgan Wilson, and I'm the head administrator at Deep Charter School. It's nice to meet everyone. A little about myself. I am a native New Mexican as well. I was raised in Albuquerque, and I'm a graduate of Cibola High School. And my undergrad was from Eastern New Mexico University. And I went on to marry an alumni from Eastern, and he joined the military. And so we served our country for 30 years. And I have been away from New Mexico for 35 years. So now that I'm back, I'm happy to be serving my state and this very special community at Deep Charter School on the Navajo Reservation. I have over 25 years of experience in education, mostly serving under-resourced communities. And in Ohio and Dallas, I served as an administrator for schools that only enrolled homeless children. And so bringing all of that education and experience back to my home state has been a longtime dream for me. And now I get the opportunity to serve the Navajo Nation at this wonderful school. And that's a little bit about me.
Awesome. Well, congratulations on thank you for coming back. Welcome home. Welcome home. Thank you for coming back. It's always exciting to have New Mexicans go find some more resources, find some more information, and come back and make our state better. Thank you for your dedication service to the military and supporting that. And yeah, just so happy to have you back home, and going to be wishing you all the best.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yes, can I say thank you also? We have lots of ties in the Gallup community, and so I would, and the Crown Point community. So I do thank you also for your willingness and your passion to do this. So that's just absolutely wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Wilson.
Thank you so much.
Okay, and next we have Will Tracy, who's here for Aldo.
Yeah, I appreciate it. All right, let's see. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right, that's
That was
step one.
right, it was my fault, Dr. Moore.
I apologize for any form of technical difficulty. For those who do not know, I'm Will Tracy, the new director at Aldo Leopold Charter School, and we operate on the campus of Western New Mexico University, who has been experiencing some internet challenges over the last year, and we operate on their internet. So this might come and go a couple of times, and so I apologize in advance for that. And I appreciate your celebration there, Commissioner Ingham, and I have appreciate our phone call we had last week about our facilities opportunities down here in Silver City. I've actually met most of you at last year's charter renewal when I was a contractor running a small business specializing in outdoor and experiential education with Aldo Leopold Charter School. And that is how I found my way into this role as a licensed New Mexico administrator. I have long been interested in Aldo Leopold Charter School, coming here from Northern New England, where I've been involved in public education, private schools, boarding schools, and all things experiential ed for the last 15 years. Additionally, it was higher education that was my first opportunity here in New Mexico, teaching at Western New Mexico University. And I'm deeply aligned with what we do here at Aldo Leopold Charter School. We have, of course, the same and different challenges and opportunities of many in New Mexico, and I'm just looking forward to meeting more people and working with you all.
Yeah, he's still there.
All right, you're back. You were frozen for just a second.
Okay.
I think I think we probably didn't hear your last like 2 sentences.
That's okay. That was me thanking you all for your patience and my continued excitement to learn more and work with everyone in this group and in the greater New Mexico Charter School community.
Yes, Will, I'm very thankful to have you there, and I'm looking forward to visiting you guys as soon as possible, and hopefully work with you on that facility that we're hoping to get for you, and with PSFA, we'll just go through this challenge together. And I thank you that you're there at Aldo Leopold, because they are really need a long-term vision. And so I'm very thankful for your presence, and we'll meet each other very soon. Thank you.
Commissioner Obenchain?
Congratulations, Will.
Thank you, Commissioner. The feeling is mutual.
There we go.
Thank you.
I'm just wanting to say it sounds like a great fit. I know a lot about Aldo Leopold and their history with their school and their focus on outdoor experiential ed. So it sounds like a really good fit for you. So congratulations. I'm really happy for you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Congratulations on your role. Is this your first time being a head administrator? Or have you been a lead administrator before? Or is this your first?
This is my first time in public charter schools. I was the head administrator at a private boarding school in New Hampshire prior to my time down here in New Mexico. And it's different, I will tell you that. It is very different.
Yeah, I believe that. I believe that. No, it's just very excited for you. And yeah, all of your background to be bringing it down to that community. I imagine it's well received. Yeah, Commissioner Gibson.
So now I have to ask, where in New Hampshire was the boarding school?
It was in a small town called Pike, which is on the western side of the White Mountains near the Connecticut River, if you're familiar with that part of northern
Yeah,
New England.
I lived in Andover and North Conway.
Oh, there you go. North Conway is a very
Oh.
special place for me. So
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah, and Andover has a private boys' school, so I
That's
didn't know
right.
if you were, so thanks and welcome.
Thank you.
I was head of merchandising in Brookstone in Peterborough, New Hampshire. I was in charge of all the merchandising for Brookstone.
And I've never been to New Hampshire.
Actually, it's one of the very few states I've never been to. Yeah.
It is magnificent.
It's a beautiful place. It's a beautiful place. I
welcome,
recommend it.
I know you're familiar with Aldo. Welcome, to the state charter school world.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. Looking forward to moving forward with this process with you all.
Excellent. You'll find that we're very supportive, and Dr. Russell, anything you need, Dr. Russell and Missy, we're there for you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
I'm
Thank you,
Steve
Rob.
Carrillo, by the way. I'm in the north.
All right, thank you, Will.
And unfortunately, Mr. Eric Tiger from 21st Century Public Academy is not on, and we've tried communicating, and so we haven't heard back.
If you want to try for next month, just one more time, that's fine.
Thank you. And in fairness, this was probably due to the CSD's error with the Zoom link. I texted him and called him, but we weren't able to get in touch with
No
him.
problem. We could do it next month if it
Okay.
works out still. Okay, that'll take us to, thank you. Thank you for all the new head administrators coming in. So that'll take us back. We're going to do item 6A from the work session yesterday, which is the LESC update. So Vice Chair Gibson.
Okay, so I attended the LESC in Las Vegas last month. And they had a really interesting conversation on Thursday about two things, an attendance initiative and intensive tutoring program that they've established. And the attendance initiative that PED had an interesting component in that they had a fund of $500 that schools that participated, if they had unhoused students, they could give them a stipend of $500 to try to encourage them and keep them in school. Maybe that would help them, not have to work quite as much, or, just to be able to get over the hump. So I was fascinated with it, and I wanted to ask the director if you could get more information. It wasn't clear with the presentation if that initiative is continuing, because I know we have any number of schools that are challenged with unhoused students. So if that initiative is still continuing, how do schools get to participate, and have they expanded it? Because there wasn't a lot of schools, because it was like a trial, but I think it's certainly worth looking into for a number of our schools if it's going to continue. And then they had a larger presentation on the tutoring initiative and its intensive tutoring that they're doing. And they've really seen remarkable results. What was disappointing to me was when they put on the screen the list of schools that received the grants, because once again, it was a small number this first time. There were maybe 10 schools, and one of them was one of our charters, and they did receive a substantial grant, but it was an application process. A number of legislators expressed concern as to why a charter school got that much money. And no one from the LESC staff that was presenting said, you do remember that they're public schools. They were helping public, none. There was just dead silence. So that's just, and you're not allowed to offer comment. So it was just really disappointing that still being on the outside. And then a number of legislators expressed concerns that schools in their area didn't get money. But there was no also explanation as to, well, they didn't apply. No one from your area applied, so that's why they didn't get the money. So it looked like, oh, this, charter school funneled off $200,000 for this, and there was no explanation as to how many students were even in that school. So it was, I was really, once again, it's that conversation you hate to be sitting there and wanting to say, can someone please intervene and do this? But they had incredible results from that intensive program. And the program was a combination of one-on-one in the school. They had individuals, they had kids from the colleges coming in, they had high school kids coming in to do the tutoring, and they did it during the school day because they found that doing it after school didn't work well. Kids felt in many cases, oh, I got to stay after school to do the tutoring. They were able to work it into the school day so that it was incorporated into their instructional time. So it wasn't viewed as a pullout. So kids were already in other groups, and it's like, here, we're having this intensive tutoring, and it really, it seemed to work well. There was also opportunities for students to get additional intensive tutoring online. And one of the members said, oh, then, you can get and there are partnerships with Harvard and Yale and some of the big universities. And uniquely enough, the LASC member that was doing it and his counterpart, I believe they were from PED, said, we had less success with the tutors that were coming from those Ivy League, and we had far more success with the online tutoring from UNM and MSU, Highlands, the local, the kids just connected with them more. So they said, even though the opportunity is there, they were far more successful. So I truly hope that PED continues asking for more monies for this, because it really does seem like it's a program that could benefit, every school if they feel they have the need for it. So that was most of Thursday was with that. And then Friday, there was, no, Friday, it was Friday morning, sorry. Friday morning, there was the presentation by PED, the chair, and the APS director was also invited to attend, and the LASC representative presented. And Lucy, could you pull up in our meeting materials, there's the PED report is in there. And if you could pull that up, and I think it's page 5 of that report. So the LASC staff person that did the report, I thought Mark did a good job of trying to get as much information as he could. I know he talked to the chair, he talked to the secretary, he spent almost 2 hours with me on a call trying to and he talked to many other people as well. And he came to at least one meeting of ours. And he came to the conclusion that we've all said, that you can't put your finger on what PED spends the 2% on. He did a good job of outlining what we do with the 2% and the supports that we've offered. And the chair wants to talk about what she said, and then I'll finish up.
Sure, and actually, so one thing that is in your folders is what, like in your work, in the work session folder is the PDF of the 3 pages that I made that are overview. So if it's ever helpful for you to use, like if you're trying to explain the PEC to people, I actually think they're like pretty good overview documents.
Yep.
So feel free to use them however often you want. But I actually think we tried to, Mark let me know that he wanted to just keep it high level, that it's, and I'm sure you all know from going and talking to legislators when you're getting signatures, when you're talking about stuff, like most people, even who have knowledge of charter schools, don't understand what the PEC does or what the PEC is, right? Like, it's just, there's an awareness aspect of it that we're still at that kind of level. So that's what the presentation I made was focused on, is the basics of who we are, the basics of what we do. And I think we have a lot to be proud of. I think we have a lot to be really excited about for what our commission's doing, where we're going, where we've gone. And I think it was honestly very well received by the legislators. I don't think we got any kind of negative response at all, which was interesting. There was a couple conversations about like, well, what about what I hear when with lottery schools telling certain kids that they can't come to their school, and so we talked about that. And also, just to be frank, it's also a traditional school problem too. I mean, kids come into schools all the time and they get people who do not have the child's best interest at heart necessarily, or maybe they do, and then they have a weird way of showing it. Correct. Correct. So I mean, so we talked about that, but even that wasn't, nothing felt, no, nothing felt adversarial. It was very, it's actually really good. They didn't ask a lot of questions necessarily from our presentation. But I think what you're about to get to is there was some confusion, about.
Sale now begins.
There was some confusion when the legislators were presented with the PED's presentation, because it kind of overlapped with what we felt like was our work. And the PED kind of made it muddied. So we did try to clear it up as best we could of like, no, that's not quite the whole story. But once again, I think it was really good. The legislators were listening. They were intentional about it. I imagine if we ever need to go back and we have conversations, we don't have to start at the base level anymore, which is wonderful. And so, yeah, I just very grateful to Mark for his diligence. What an incredible staff person for LESC to have, is someone who's willing to do the amount of digging and work and effort to like really find as much of the information as possible and present it in a way that was really palatable. So it was a pleasure to work with Mark. Yeah, I think from that little teeny part of it, I think it went really well.
Yeah. One thing I'll say is at the end of his presentation, he did make some recommendations. I told him, I said, I know I didn't expect it, but I was a little disappointed that you didn't say, I think you should support the PEC separating. I really, if you're going to end with policy recommendations, couldn't you have just gone there? But one of the policy recommendations he did make was for the legislature to reduce the 2%. And I expressed some concern over that. I think it should be the authorizer having that ability to make that determination. Because I think if you were a single district in a small district, you might need that 2%, especially in the early years, to try to build out successfully. So I think it should be an authorizer's decision as to what the setback is. So I said, I don't think they have the skill set to make that determination, because authorizers are so different. So I think, I'm fine with it saying up to, if people are willing to acknowledge that it can be less. So that was part of his policy decision. But this is the piece that just, it didn't surprise me, but it did astound me, that PED in their presentation, this is what they say they're doing to support charters. And it's the support for the meetings, it's the CSD oversight and monitoring, it is the technical assistance and support. Can we continue to scroll a little bit? The data system and the school improvement grants. This all came from our portion of the 2%. It did not come from PED's portion, but they couched it like, this is what, oh, look at what we've done. So this is how we collaborate and do this. And I probably have an email for almost every one of those that says, no, you can't do that. So this is what I really, and to me, this is a really good conversation starter. Or, please understand that this is not what PED is doing. But they want to make you think to justify their 2% because they can't show what they're using their 2% for. but there, I bet you there's still pieces that,
No,
but they,
Penny is,
they
know.
but this is what they want the legislators to think they're doing, to make it look like we need them. Because look at all we're doing for them. So that was, it is very frustrating. I mean, was I surprised? No. No, not at all. But, and I turned to a number of people, including Commissioner Ingham, and said, I just love a good fairy tale, So it's, so I do agree. I think this was, actually, there's a lot of new members on the LESC. And they are far more engaged on a regular, through all of the presentations. I've been there so often where they're buried in their phones or on their laptops, and they're not paying a shred of attention. They really listened across the board, across the days, to most of them, to all the presentations. So I really do appreciate that, because it does help when you want to engage in a conversation. Most of them will have a recollection of, oh, I remember I heard something about that. Didn't we have a presentation? They've got paperwork that they can fall back on and say, oh, I'll go look at that again. So this was extraordinarily, hopefully, helpful.
Can we get a list of who's on the LESC? You never know when, like, might be a friend of a friend.
Go on their website, but I'll send it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Yeah, I will.
You never know.
Yeah, because it is, once again, it's probably largely Albuquerque centric,
Right.
because so many of the
I know a
legislators.
bunch of those guys, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was reasonably well attended. There's only, so out of the whole list, there's only 10 of them. There's probably 25 or so that actually have a vote. The rest are listed as advisory. But many of the advisory, I've been to meetings where they haven't been able to take a vote because not enough members have been there, but it's been overloaded with advisory. So there've been people there, but, so it was better attended than many, especially for the summer. They're meeting in Gallup soon. And of course, they're meeting in Las Cruces during our meeting. So it's like, all right. So, yeah, I think it was time well spent. I will say APS's presentation was not good. He didn't do anything about the 2%.
There was one other item that, just to like have, for you all to know about, that, there's always like these little kind of like, nuances that a certain legislator will kind of get focused into, like these like tunnel visions, right? Of their like, that's like their thing that they're gonna care about. So I do just want to let you know, it didn't really seem like there's too much of like a specific thing, except for online charters or online
Oh,
schooling.
yeah.
Is something that there's a couple of them that want to like just make it their thing. So I did take the opportunity to talk especially about PECO Cyber Academy and how unique their model is for how they do online education. And once again, really talking to them about our performance framework and how we're looking at student outcomes. And so we are expecting, regardless of whether a student is in person, online, on vacation, it doesn't matter, that their outcomes are still going to be held accountable from our side. But just to keep you aware that it's a little bit of a sensitive topic to one specific legislator, but a couple of them kind of want to make it a thing.
The reason why it's a thing is because they're advertising like crazy in Albuquerque right now. So the legislatures.
Well, and I think it's also that rise of online schools during COVID, and then and this is because it's not just the charters, it's online schooling even with the traditional districts.
Yeah.
And so they're looking at that as well, like which of those traditional districts kept online schools, how are they performing, are they being managed well? So it's not just a charter school thing necessarily, it's more of an online school thing, but the online charters, I think, are getting the brunt of it. Yes.
There was one other, I gotta say, obnoxious comment about how much charter school administrators get paid. I took real umbrage with that. It's, okay, I think that they don't, charter schools act as superintendents. Do they talk to Gabriella about how much she gets paid? Is that interest to them? It's not an interest to them. It's only an interest because they're charter schools. And I found that I took it kind of offensive.
So can I just add a little bit to that? So on the national scene, it has become very much because there's at least 2 charter schools in New Jersey. And they allow for profits to be in there. And those charter leaders make an astounding amount of money, an astounding amount of money. And they're not large schools. And that has become like the narrative on the national scene about, oh, look at that charter school and that leader. So when you get legislators who pick up on some of those news points, they just automatically associate. I bet you they couldn't tell you what the actual salary is of a local charter leader, but they've seen it in the national narrative about how there are some areas, especially those states where for-profits are allowed. It can be off the charts, and it does. It reflects on every other, it's the very, very few, but it's reflecting across the board on all of the charter leaders. So if someone brings that up, I would lead them to the question of, where did you see that? Have you looked at the charter leader? And yes, do you know what a charter leader does? But I think they're just buying into that anti-charter narrative that is national.
And I would say from my perspective, I actually do think governing boards in New Mexico actually do need to look at the contracts and how much they're paying their charter leaders. Some of them are there has been issues here. And I think I have heard very recently of some of the amounts that charter leaders are getting paid for some very small charter schools. And it is significantly more than a rural district superintendent. And it is inappropriate. And so it is going to make, like, when governing boards are not doing their due diligence of ensuring they're not overpaying a head administrator, it is going to cause problems because the people are going to look at it and say, oh, people are just making money off of this charter school. Because if they go work at a rural district where those superintendents are doing all the same work, they're having to drive the school bus, they're pulling the trash cans down, they're doing just as much as a charter school leader, and they are not getting paid as much. So I do think governing boards have to be cautious of significantly overpaying, and it has been an issue here in New Mexico. But I think that's a governing board. There's not a statute that they're violating.
Is it
So
public
it's a,
information?
yeah, yes.
And so, and it also, I can only assume that it is really dependent on the size of the school.
No, I don't think it is. I think it depends on the governing board, and that's the problem. Yes. Yes, that's what.
Ignorant of that.
Yes. So it's one of those things that should be like, governing boards should be self-monitoring to where it doesn't come to an issue. But when we have governing boards giving large salaries to first-year head administrators with with less than 50 kids in the school, we have to be cautious because it's not a good look. It's not a good look. It makes it look like they're exploiting the charter system. Yes.
Plus, it's impinging on the school's ability to use the money for appropriately. So I said it impinges on the ability of the charter school to fund their programs if they have to spend so much money to get and I'm sure that the real problem is the lack of, it's supply and demand is gonna cause that. I think that opportunity, if that's the case, that's a real problem. If it's just supply and demand, then there's something we can do about that. We can start talking to educators and saying, well, this is an opportunity. And I think that that's a legitimate thing to say, that we have opportunities in charter schools, so there isn't a supply problem. But I know that at times, if a school loses their head administrator and they're up a creek and have to do something quickly, that's when they get put in a pickle where they have to pay somebody more than they would like to. Now that's a supply and demand issue. If it's a nepotism or whatever, that needs to be called out. I don't know what the word I'm using. If it's just paying somebody more than they would be yeah.
There was a piece of legislation a couple of years ago, but I think it only got attached to certain funds, that X amount of money was being allotted to schools, but out of that pot of money, no more than like 20% of it could go to administrative. And that was the intent, that it was going to direct instruction. And I get that intent. But yeah, I think there's, it's not necessarily our job, but I think if schools are, especially if schools are challenged to meet the instructional needs, they need to take a look at, I live in a school district that has a $6 million shortfall, and that's because they're so administratively heavy that they, they're in a bind, and they shouldn't be, because we have burgeoning enrollment in the area. So money isn't the issue, it's budgeting.
I'm gonna go ahead and, let's go ahead and move on. All right. All right, so this brings us to item 8. Discussion and possible action on Explore Academy Las Cruces amendment. No? We're okay.
No, we didn't remove anything.
We're on number 8. We're on number 8. Item, and we're gonna do them in 2 different votes. So we'll start with item A, the grade level change. Director Russell, and then I'm assuming there's folks online from this
Good morning,
school.
Madam Chair and Commissioners. Yes, the Explore Board Chair and Head Administrator are on Zoom.
Perfect.
And Ms. Valenzuela will promote them once the CSD analysis is
If
complete.
you want to start promoting them now, that'd be great, so we don't have to wait.
So CSD analyzed these 2 amendments as a package together because the one impacted and caused the other. At their governing board meeting on June 20th, the Explore Las Cruces board explored 4 possible scenarios for resolving a severe financial crisis that actually impacted their ability to meet payroll at the end of the last school year. And the scenarios are listed in our analysis, and they're also in the amendment, and they all involved a reduction in force or renegotiation of the lease. But what they ultimately landed on is closing the Delray campus and reducing the grades served to K through 8. This is already, it's after the fact. It's a done deal. They have closed and vacated the Delray campus, and they are in the current school year only serving grades K through 8. CSD recommends approving the amendment request. And moreover, we've added an additional portion of the recommendation to reduce the enrollment cap from 1,200 to 900 because they're serving fewer grades. A reduction to K8 is a 69% reduction in the grade levels served. So we have recommended a 75% enrollment cap modification. And if the school, if their demand for grades K through 8 exceeds that, they can make that case when they present. But that's our recommendation. If the commission is going to reduce the grade level served, they also reduce the enrollment cap.
All right. We can go to the school if you have anything that you want to add or let us know, and then we'll go to commissioner questions after.
I don't think I have anything to add other than, we are currently, what is the word I'm looking for? Sorry, having a moment. We are currently serving over 430 kids in our K-8. This was a good change for us. In Las Cruces, there are a lot of charter schools serving the high school. We were not as competitive at the high school level, but we definitely have a need for K-8. So currently our enrollment is very strong.
All right, thank you. Commissioner questions?
So,
Commissioner Gibson?
yeah, just remind me. So the current enrollment is 430. That enrollment cap right now is,
1,200.
all right, yeah,
Which we're recommending be.
the
reduced.
75 come down, which would still give plenty of room for growth. Okay, yeah.
I only have one question, and because the Explore model typically has the kids starting in high school in 8th grade so that they have that extended period of time in order to fail, and be able to actually graduate proficient. Are you going to continue doing that? I feel like it's going to cause a lot of issues every time. I mean, every single 8th grader is going to go to a different high school. And so because of the way the model does they can take 2 little terms of math class and they're not going to get their full credit because they technically were supposed to have the whole 5 years in order to do it. So how are you managing 8th grade? Are you changing the way that it's being done in order to consider that differently since you don't have high school anymore?
Right. So, after talking to pretty much all the teachers and all the stakeholders, we decided to go ahead and change the 8th grade just to a middle school 8th grade. And so we rearranged the standards so that they're taking 8th grade standards, and we moved them from the 22-day term to a quarter, just like all of the other grades. So currently we are viewing grades 6 through 8 as just regular middle school. And I would say that's probably the biggest change that we made. Otherwise, the model has pretty much stayed the same through everything else.
Perfect. I think that makes me feel better. That makes sense. And so, yeah, that's going to be my next question is, what is any other part of your educational plan, program, how you go about doing business, how you're going about your instruction, has any of that changed from last year to this year?
No, we kept the scope and sequence the same for K through 5. The only change that we made was instead of 4th and 5th grade changing flavors at the quarter, we decided to do it at the semester. And basically that was a decision made because this change happened so quickly and the contract ended on July 1st. We needed to start school July 28th. And so we were trying to make sure that we would have all the pieces in place for that to be as seamless as possible. So we're still doing mastery grading. We are still doing 50% of the grade coming from core, 50% coming from flavor. Teachers still designed flavors and are teaching those flavors in their class. So really I would say the main core of the model has stayed the same. We've only made slight adjustments to fit kind of what we needed this year.
Right. And then one other question, for 8th grade, are you still going to provide opportunities for enrichment for like kids who want to take algebra in 8th grade or are advanced in the 8th grade, but yeah, maybe past the 8th grade standards? Do they have any access to higher level?
So that is going to be enrichment in the classroom. This year we are not offering like an Algebra 1 class, but that is something we want to look at for next year. Once again, the change was so quick, we didn't have time to kind of think through all of those pieces. But I definitely want to go ahead and offer Algebra 1 as an option next year.
Great. I mean, I think those would be the things I would consider in doing that and knowing what your model looks like. Commissioner Creel?
My first question is relative to something that was said earlier. Is that the new logo for the school that you have on your shirt?
This is the logo for all the Explore Academies.
Oh.
Yeah, so we haven't changed the logo.
Okay.
We have had discussion about potentially changing our name, but that is something we want to have all stakeholders have a voice in. So it's something we're talking about over the course of this year.
I think this is the first time I've actually seen that logo. It's really cool. So I have a question. Since the board meeting that you guys had was in June, today, this is August, How and when did parents find out that these changes were going to happen so that they weren't left in a lurch, especially those obviously with the high school age kids? Because I imagine they fully expected them to stay at the school.
So it was emailed out from the board, I believe the next day. Dr. Reyes can probably talk to that more. It was emailed out. It was also posted on Facebook. I know I saw it there several times. And there was even, I believe, a news article that came out about it as well.
Thank you.
All right. Any other questions, commissioners? All right. Seeing none, I'll move that the PEC accept the Explore Academy Las Cruces grade level amendment as set out in document 8A and make it part of the charter contract.
Second.
Thank you. There's a motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, if you could do roll.
Okay, Commissioner Obenshain,
Yes.
Commissioner Beck,
Yes.
Commissioner Carrillo,
Yes.
Commissioner Manus,
Yes.
Commissioner Taylor,
Yes.
Secretary Ingham says yes, Vice Chair Gibson.
Yes.
And Chair Burt,
Yes.
that's 8-0.
The motion passes. Do we need more? I think the item 8B kind of already tackled in the first discussion. So does anyone have any questions for the school regarding the location change before we make a?
They're staying in the location they already are. They just haven't opened the high school location.
Any questions? Okay. I move that the PEC accept the Explore Academy Las Cruces lease notification and document 8B.
Second.
I don't think we need to.
Do what?
Was there a second? Okay, great. So there's a motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? All right, seeing none, roll.
Commissioner Creel,
Yes.
Commissioner Manus,
Yes.
Commissioner Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Obenshain,
Yes.
Commissioner Beck,
Yes.
Chair, that was a.
I vote yes.
Okay, Vice Chair Gibson and Secretary Ingham and Chair Burt.
Yes.
That's also 8-0.
Thank you. Those pass. That'll take us to item 9. And thank you, Ms. Black.
Thank you. Have a
Thank
great
you.
weekend.
All right, item 9. Discussion and possible action on Roots and Wings Community School Mission Statement Amendment Request. Director Russell?
Thank you, Madam Chair. This change is so minor, it really could have gone on the consent agenda. It's cleanup language. Instead of the mission of Roots and Wings Charter School, it's rephrased to our mission, and the word farm is replaced with the word garden because they don't have an actual farm. It's, garden is more indicative of what they do have on the campus. CSD obviously recommends this. This is buy a farm, get
I
go.
was just saying, contract, you don't want to farm up there.
So
No.
it is my professional opinion that this is well within the realm of charter autonomy. And I strongly recommend that commissioners do not order the school to buy goats. And yeah, no one is here from the school virtually, and our
All right,
recommendation.
any questions for Director Russell regarding this? All right, seeing none, I move that the PEC accept the Roots and Wings Community School Mission Amendment as set out in the document 9A and make it part of the charter contract. Thank you. There's a motion and a second by Commissioner Obenshain. Roll.
Commissioner Obenshain,
Yes.
Commissioner Beck,
Yes.
Commissioner Creel,
Yes.
Commissioner Manus,
Yes.
Commissioner Taylor,
Yes.
Secretary Ingham says yes, Commissioner, Vice Chair Gibson,
Yes.
and Chair Burt,
Yes.
8-0.
Thank you. That passes unanimously. All right, item 10, discussion and possible action on procurement officer form change, second reading. And I see we have Ms. Brown. would you like to introduce it?
I would love to introduce it. So this is I'm sharing on the screen, the red line edit for the procurement officer change, putting the logo on here, making a minor change to the name, where you've wanted to remove the requirement of board minutes, approving the change, and you're asking that the representatives below provide assurance that the information is true and correct. So there are no changes that you were making between the work session and this reading.
Any questions, comments, discussion on this item, commissioners? Great. I'll say that I do think this is one, like, these are like the simple things I think we can do that that actually reduce administrative burden. Like, even just having it as like an item on the to-do list to have to follow up later.
Yep.
Is just nice. Okay. I move that the PEC adopt the revised procurement officer change form and that the CSD make technical changes and post the form to the PEC website.
Second.
Thank you. There's a motion and a second by Commissioner Taylor. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, roll.
Okay, Commissioner Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Manus,
Yes.
Commissioner Carrillo,
Yes.
Commissioner Beck,
Yes.
Commissioner Obenchain,
Yes.
Secretary Ingham says yes, Vice Chair Gibson. Vice Chair Gibson,
Yes.
Chair Burt,
Yes.
it's 8-0 again.
Thank you. All right, the next one is going to be the item 11, the discussion on possible action on the 2026 calendar. And thank you, Ms. Consuelo, for providing us with this. This is also the second time that we're taking a look at this one as well. Consuelo, do you want to say anything before we?
I just changed the colors so people could see them clearer.
At the subtlety.
Go ahead.
First thing that kind of came up for me in looking at this is Indian Market, because we have our meetings there. Well, maybe I got my colors wrong. Yeah, we have our meetings there. It's always the third weekend of August, 20th and 21st.
So last year we did it during Indian Market,
I don't care. I just, but
which only cost me even more money. So that, I'm just saying that. So I think Consuelo is conspiratorial on putting that, but if you make your reservation early enough, I didn't get an Indian Market rate. I got the rate that I pay every week, so every month, every week. So if you make your reservation early, I mean, you can always cancel. So, it's just a little, difficult, maybe more difficult to get into a restaurant, but it's really, we're out of here before it actually technically starts, unless you are stupid like me and you stay and, and spend, the day with 10,000 of your closest friends.
All right, anything else that you all see? All right. I move that the PEC adopt the 2026 calendar and post the calendar on the PEC website.
Thank you.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, you could call roll, please.
Commissioner Beck,
Yes.
Commissioner Obenchain,
Yes.
Commissioner Taylor,
yes.
Commissioner Manus,
Yes.
Commissioner Carrillo,
Yeah.
Secretary Ingham, yes. Vice Chair Gibson,
Yes.
Chair Burt.
Yes. Thank you, 8-0.
Getting better at
All right. This will bring us to item number 12, discussion and possible action on the implementation year checklist. And I know this is back to Ms. Brown again.
Back to me. Would you like me to share the red line or the clean?
I think the red line, please.
Okay. So you have discussed this already. I think the only, addition you requested was for me to add, a specificity that if you are a high school, you cannot choose option 2. You have to go with option 1. Or is it the other way around? Sorry. It's the other way. No option 1, you have to go with option 2. So sorry about that. So otherwise, there were no additions that you wanted, and you didn't ask me to take anything out. So, and I will be bringing you a major overhaul later in the year.
Right.
All right, thank you. Any questions, comments, any small changes that can be made today, any large changes and we don't need to vote today? All right, great. I move that the PEC adopt the changes to the implementation year checklist and post the form on the PEC website.
Second.
See, there's a motion and a second by one of them. It sounded like a tie. I'll leave it to you. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, roll.
Okay, I'm gonna go opposite. So Secretary Ingham, yes. Chair Burt,
Yes.
Vice Chair Gibson,
Yes.
Commissioner Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Manus,
Yes.
Commissioner Carrillo,
Yes.
Commissioner Obachane,
Yes.
Commissioner Beck.
Yep.
Just to give me a
Me
hard time.
too, Patty.
8-0.
Thank you. That motion passed. Item number 13, discussion and possible action on the PEC representation on the State Library Commission. We do know that Commissioner Taylor is going to be quite offended by this item, and so we're going to be very sensitive to it. But we did ask Ms. Barnes and Director Russell to just look into the liaison positions, and specifically this one, to see if we have a statutory obligation to be in it, or why we're in it, what we're doing, why. So I'll pass it over to the two of them to tell us what they found about it, which can lead us to taking an action today, possibly. They really dug deep for Commissioner Taylor here.
Well, I think Commissioner Taylor just needs to serve in perpetuity. Or ever, even if he's not a commissioner.
Thank you. Madam Chair, our memo is beautifully bureaucratically wishy-washy. Because what it says in statute is that the 5th member of the commission shall be a member of the State Board of Education chosen by vote of the board's membership. As we all know, the State Board of Education no longer exists, and the Public Education Commission replaced it, but isn't the State Board of Education. So one could make the case that as the successor to the State Board of Education, the Public Education Commission must provide a member. Sorry, Commissioner Taylor. Or one could argue that as the Public Education Department is, the de facto new State Board of Education, it's the secretary who should appoint a designee.
Obviously, the spirit of this is intended as a state public education and not specifically a charter, right? So no.
So is it a voting position though? You vote on anything? Okay. Oh, there will have to be somebody, so the PED will have to.
I don't think necessarily, I mean, it is a total independent agency or department from any of this. None of their decisions really affect charter school access to libraries or interests in libraries at all.
I can say from prior liaisons, we had one that actually was a former librarian. And we thought, oh, that's a great fit. She came back and she said, they asked me to ask us to take her off. What are you doing here? Why are you here? You need to get off. So she really felt very much unwelcomed. So it's, yeah, it's like,
I would say that's not the case now. They're
Well, that's
very,
good.
yeah,
That's
the
good.
director is, he, very welcoming, very accommodating, but I mean, the relevance is nil.
well, and I think it could have been the
It could have been. They do. Would you like to take the position?
Where do you meet? Where do they meet?
Yeah, Ms. Barnes.
I just want to add one quick point that every other position is really aligned to state charters. This one seems like an outlier. And so when you look at why you are taking your time on each of the others, it's really, oh, this is important because I just didn't see that this is important because sentence for the state library.
Yeah, do you want to make the motion? On behalf of yourself? Okay. It's too far. That's too far. I move that the chair send a letter to the State Library Commission removing its designation on the State Library Commission.
Second.
Okay, there's a
Second.
motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, roll.
Okay, Commissioner Taylor,
With deep regret, yes.
Commissioner Manus. Come back. Commissioner Creel,
Yes.
Commissioner Obenschein,
Yes.
Commissioner Beck,
Yes.
Chair Burt,
Yes.
Vice Chair Gibson,
Yes.
Secretary Ingham, and once again, Commissioner Manus. So
Yes.
it's- Oh, there he is. There we go. Okay, thank you, 8-0.
Thank you.
As a follow-up, may I just say that I don't want to take away from any of the work that they do or, it's important for our state and I mean, just the relevance of our position on that, so we joke about it, but I don't want to take away anything from what they do.
Might
So-
be beneficial just to be considerate of it. Yeah, we'll send the letter, but I also wonder if we should ask that maybe Director Russell or for the chair to send information to the secretary, letting her know just so that she knows like, hey, we're doing this because we're not the Board of Education anymore. But it may be something you want to provide a designee for. So I think I don't know who's the right one to do it. I don't mind just asking Director Russell to be like, hey, the PEC made this action, just want to let you know, because there is a vacancy now on this board that's not being filled by the PEC. If the secretary wants it, she can have it.
I have a question for Commissioner Taylor, or if you can answer, Trevor. What does the State Library Commission do?
Can we talk about that offline so we could just keep moving through through the agenda?
I won't want to know the answer to that 5 minutes from now.
Well, then, yeah, we should not spend our time talking about it right now. All right. Item number 14, discussion and possible action on the charter schools conference. So, yeah, this is the extension from the conversation yesterday.
So we had a long conversation about this yesterday. Director Russell gave us a number of informative charts about the conference. It was clear not just from, the budget subcommittee brought it up, and the consensus of the budget subcommittee was to have the pause on it, but then she did move forward and put the questions out to schools to see how they felt, and they did also support the opportunity for the reset, and actually it appeared that they supported that possible idea of doing the regional meetings one year, the conference the other year. So I am going to certainly propose that we do that pause so that we can have I think, a more effective impact on schools by taking a closer look at what we're doing at the conferences and how we do it. Maybe there's a different way of organizing it and giving us that opportunity also to take the time to hopefully see if there's interest in collaboration with the district charters on a conference. It gives us that reset time without having to try to work on a conference and work on the reset at the same time. Let's just take a pause and give everyone an opportunity to look at it.
Director Russell, if you want to say anything before I go to Commissioner questions? Okay. Commissioner discussion questions? Commissioner Ingham, then Commissioner Obenshain?
Okay, so is the motion that we're going to vote on going to be to go to the biannual deal where we go both, or is it just for 1 year? And that's okay. That seems more reasonable.
Commissioner Obenshain?
Yeah, just for my historical benefit, we're talking about the conference that is done by CSD, not PCSNM collaboration. And does someone remember when that came about? The CSD conference versus because I just remembered the PCSNM.
So when the CSD conferences started?
Here, actually, I can direct that back to Director Russell.
Thank you, Madam Chair, Commissioner Obenshain. The CSD has been putting on an annual charter schools conference since before I joined the Charter Schools Division 5 years ago.
Yeah, it's been going on.
Yeah.
Some form of a conference has been going on since I've been on the commission. It's grown in scope, but like I said, we weren't invited to the first number of them, so I don't know what those actually looked like. And I don't believe at that time PCSNM was actually putting on a conference in those early years.
So I guess the reason for that question was this a PEC initiative or a CSD initiative that PEC did not have a part of and now is taking ownership of?
Yeah.
Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes.
Okay. Or has taken ownership?
So what we have realized, now that the budgeting is more transparent, we now know that the 2% money has been funding the CSD Charter School Conference. And so that is a PEC initiative then, because it's spending the 2%. And so that's what the thought process was. And we did try to talk with the former director multiple years in a row about having more involvement, about having some say, about trying to write that the district's charters were coming for free to this conference, and not saying they shouldn't come, but just that they should be paying a registration fee, they should pay for their own hotels, things like that. And so, yeah, this is taking it not away, it's just to do it to where it's PEC directed and then CSD led.
I think the presumption was, at least I can say for me, the presumption always was that this was a PED paid for conference that the CSD simply was in charge of. And I was completely unaware that it was actually coming out of the 2% money. And it became when budget subcommittee and we started to dig into it more and say, let us see the real numbers. Then it came to our attention that, this is really a PEC, should be a PEC. We should have the opportunity for input and direction on this. And, like the chair said, we were met with a lot of reluctance with that. So I think the opportunity for this reset, and maybe take a look at, it gives us that opportunity to have a conversation to see, is this something that, would it be better for schools to just have to go to one conference a year and it be a joint PCSNM, PEC, that's, because PCSNM is membership, but if we were also part of it, it opens it up, so I think it offers the opportunity to explore a lot of different scenarios for this.
Commissioner Taylor.
Yeah, Dr. Russell, could you, I know that we've made some financial commitments for this next conference this coming year, right? Do you know what those are, what the cost of us taking pause would be?
Madam Chair, Commissioner Taylor, when this was brought up in Budget Subcommittee, I was under the impression that the deposit had already been put down. It has not.
Perfect.
Yeah. Not really.
Which we
It
were
was
even
very,
willing
it was
even
a
if we
very
didn't-
near thing.
No.
You caught it just in time.
This is, yeah, this is the cherry on top.
I did see in the motion, I want to keep the motion really simple, just to not do, and then the budget subcommittee's already been taught, like, the recommendation is just to not hold the conference in the spring.
Correct.
Nothing more.
I'm just saying that the calendar you just approved has the conference on it, so you might want to delete it.
Okay, I think that's maybe a technical change that we don't have.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, I can, all right.
I can do
Right.
it.
I move that the PEC and CSD not provide a charter school conference in spring 2026.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, roll.
Commissioner Obachane,
Yes.
Commissioner Beck,
Yes.
Commissioner Carrillo.
No.
Okay. Mess me up. Commissioner Manus,
Yes.
Commissioner Taylor,
Yes.
Vice Chair Gibson,
Yes.
Secretary Ingham, yes,
Should have voted no.
and Chair Burt.
Yes.
7-1.
Thank you. The motion passes. All right, we're on to item 15, report from the Charter Schools Division, discussion and questions. Director Russell.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The Charter Schools Division conducted the pre-opening site visits to the Sacramento School of Engineering and Science on July 22nd and the Sun Mountain Community School on July 29th. Both of these visits were extremely successful, showed two schools absolutely ready in every way to open. They were really positive visits, very encouraging and affirming. I have also checked in with Mr. Davis and Dr. Perry as their first days were August 15th for Sun Mountain and August 6th for Sacramento. And both head administrators reported that their first day of instruction went off without a hitch. Dr. Perry was particularly effusive, very excited, saying that a wonderful first day just made all of the hard work
Sure.
of implementation year just worth it 1,000 times over. It was really, really nice to hear.
Yeah.
So can I just ask, do we have a number for enrollments for the two schools or approximation?
I do not have that number right here. Ms. Valenzuela might know it, or Ms. Brown. Do we have a number? I know that, yeah.
I know that Sacramento was was it about 10 students away from hitting their goal? And they were working really, really hard at that recruitment. And I think Commissioner Carrillo mentioned this morning that Sun Mountain is 2 away from hitting their enrollment.
All right. Item 15A, 4 and 5 are Office of Special Education corrective action plans. There were investigations pending for 2 charter schools. One of those schools, Explore Academy, was closed without a corrective action plan being imposed. No findings, no harm, no foul. The other school pending investigation was School of Dreams Academy, and Office of Special Ed did impose a corrective action plan for that school. It's number C2425-66, And the school has deadlines and is working on meeting them, and you won't hear from us again until the cap closes or the school is not in compliance with deadlines. And then finally, Sandoval Academy of Bilingual Education, their governing board membership has dropped below 5, and they are working on finding a 5th board member. And then staffing update. The Charter Schools Division has hired 2 new staff members since the last PEC meeting. I would like to invite Robert Gallegos and Leah Jimenez to join me up here to introduce themselves. Robert is an authorizing administrator, same position that Lucy and Greg and Ya Ling have. So now we have, for the first time, we have 4 authorizing administrators, and CSD is going to move to a model where schools have an authorizing administrator assigned to them as
thank
their
you.
school lead. Schools have been asking for
Yes.
this for a very long time. It'll take us a while because Yaling and Robert are both very new, so we don't want to give Greg and Lucy each half of the schools, but we're working towards that.
Great.
Yeah, so.
Yeah.
And Leah was hired first. She's our financial coordinator, and she came from the Language and Culture Division. CSD continues its reputation as a great place for people to move from other PED divisions to. And so we're always thrilled to have to have people want to join our team. So Leah, since you joined us first, I will let you introduce yourself and.
Hello, Chair and Commissioners. Leah Jimenez, I've been with PED for about 8 years. Sorry.
You need to speak up first.
Leah Jimenez, I've been with PED for about 8 years, so this is exciting. In my last role, I was in charge of the federal budgets on my team and the federal subgrants. So switching to the state is a bit easier. I have done it before, but it was more towards the beginning of my career. So excited to join.
Good to have you.
Yeah, good to have you, Leah.
Thank you.
I'm grateful to have someone who has so much experience in the PED with all the budgets on our team. Like, what a great, thank you for coming over. Grateful for the team for bringing you on. So I know I've seen your name so many times all over, touching so many different things. So excited to have you doing charter school specific work with us.
Thank you.
Buenos dias, Commissioners. My name is Robert Gallegos. I'm actually coming out of retirement. I retired 2 years ago from the school systems. I worked 14 years as a teacher and an administrator at a charter school in Albuquerque. I'm a native New Mexican. I'm from northern New Mexico, a town called Vallecitos, New Mexico. It's north of Ojo Caliente. You've probably heard of Middle Springs. I worked at both traditional and charter schools, and I love charter school. I love the idea of giving the students an opportunity or school of choice for parents. And I was very inspired by Inspira yesterday because that's the work I want to do. I want to help charter schools, not only bilingual or dual language schools, but that's my passion. I just want to give my knowledge that I have to them and maybe make connections between charter schools and have them working together. And that's one of my goals.
Wonderful.
Thank you for being on the team. That's exactly, make sure he gets those schools too. Sam.
Yeah, congratulations, Robert. Robert and I have been colleagues for quite a few years in the charter sector. So he brings a ton of knowledge and experience. So I'm excited to have you on board.
Thank you.
Good finds, Director Russell. Good job, Commissioner Carrillo.
I'm Commissioner Carrillo and I represent most of the north. And do you live now in the Santa Fe area or?
I live in a rancho right now.
Okay, just curious about that.
Yeah.
Well, I'd love to hear what you said about the charter schools and that being a passion. I got to turn this off. I'm so sorry. There we go. And because I had a thought and everything, but with that Ms. Russell said that the culture in this building and in this division has changed. So very happy you're joining us when you're joining us, and I think you'll find it a really wonderful and rewarding place to work.
Thank you.
Yeah, so that's awesome. It's great. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
So grateful to work with you. Good hires, Director Russell. All right. Any other staffing updates to give us? All right, those are good ones.
Actually, yes, we do have, we still have one vacant position. It's I don't know what SPO just reclassified all the positions, but it's the Education Administrator B position. And we will be putting the paperwork in to fill that. And that will be the last vacant position except for the exempt director position. As long as I'm interim and Missy's interim, we will have one vacancy on the staff.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. Dan.
I just was, really, it made me feel real good when you said you had called the directors of those two schools after their first day. I just feel like that shows so much, warmth and passion. If I had been that administrator, I'd have been like, oh my God, I'm in the right place. So thanks for doing that.
So in full transparency, I emailed them. I didn't call them because head administrators, and as more and more millennials and soon Gen Z are charter leaders, they are all about doing it by text and yeah.
Thank you. All right. That'll take us to item 16, report from the chair, discussion and questions. And Commissioner Beck, just, we actually I don't have any new school issues. The only thing that we might need to consider, see if you guys want to discuss, is we know that the PCS&M Charter School Conference is scheduled overlaid with our renewals. So we're wondering if you guys would be open to considering looking at the calendar again in December and moving our renewals date. We could bring it next month as like a proposal, but I don't want to necessarily waste our time in EC creating any kind of proposal if everyone's like, absolutely not, we don't want to even look at it or consider it. Steve, or Commissioner Correa?
How many renewals are there coming up in this? Is it 8? Are they already under the impression that they're going to be just because they plan for this stuff in December? And then also I would imagine, my understanding is we're probably going to have applications for 2 schools to join us from their districts. Is it 3 now? What's the third? Can you say it out loud or? Okay, no, it's all right. But anyway, I just wouldn't want to, I would want to somehow include them and make sure that they haven't already blocked this into their scheduling.
And they may have. I mean, my proposal would be to move it a week later. Well, it's the week before Christmas. It's still the 3rd Thursday. Almost all schools are in session, so, no. Right now, it's the 2nd week in December is when we have our renewals. That's
11th right now,
next
that's the week of December 11th.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Duh.
So right now we have it as the 2nd week of December. I think the easiest thing would be just to bump it down to the 3rd week of December.
Not for me. Out of pocket at that time. Pretty sure.
Because I think it would be good for PEC to be able to go to the charter school conference this
Well,
year.
and I also, so I think we need to check only because I think schools with balanced calendars might be out that week. Because they take their extended time.
Yeah.
You know,
Like 4 weeks then.
yeah.
Well, and the other idea is it kind of makes those schools not be able to attend the conference either,
Correct.
which I find that, yeah, that's kind of, I would be open to the idea personally.
And we don't have to debate the merit today, just if it's okay bringing it forward next month, and then we can actually debate it, discuss,
Work session.
really look at it. Yeah. Does that sound okay? We'll do work session next month. And we'll put an item to vote if we need to, but we don't have to. And we'll just discuss it. Okay, cool. All right, B is the PEC PED MOU update. Commissioner Obenshain and I met with the Secretary and Deputy Secretary DeBell yesterday. In short, I think we came out pretty neutral. we figured out, we discovered that the secretary had not been given like any staff recommendations at this time yet. And so, she listened to us, we talked through basically, once again, the statute, what we discussed as a commission is what we discussed with her. She is going to look at the 3 items that we're sending. She also asked us to add an additional item, which is to create like a roles and responsibilities chart of CSD versus PED, of the CSD director, of the PEC liaison, and actually create it in writing to provide clarity on roles and responsibilities. And that's something she'd like to consider to be in the MOU as well. So we're going to propose bringing that back to the policy subcommittee this month, like right away, and we'll get it back to the commission by September meeting so that the whole commission has the opportunity to discuss that as well. And then we'll present that to her as soon as possible, but within the next month. So she's supposed to be looking at it from the staff side for the 3 issues that we've already presented. And we'll look at that one piece and come back to the table again.
It would have been handy for them to have at that presentation.
Sure. Sure, yeah. There's a lot of things that would have been handy. But yeah, that's where we're at. There was no yeses, there was no nos, there was just discussion. Commissioner Obenshain, please, if there's.
I think that's a very apt description. I think what was surprising to me that it felt like it was kind of new information to her, and I think we've been presenting it for a while now, so that was interesting to me.
And there definitely still is. It is very obvious the confusion of the overlap of roles and responsibilities. I think we feel like very clear on our side what's our roles and responsibilities. And I think there's still a lot of the culture of PED of not quite allowing that separation. And so there was a lot of conversation of, from her perspective, she's like, well, we serve all schools. And we're like, great, do that. We don't serve all schools. We only serve these schools, and so we really trying to like talk to her about like we want the PED divisions to serve all schools, including charters. We want CSD to only serve our schools, because that's what we feel like the roles and obligations are, which is, once again, I am grateful that she at least was like, you know what, go ahead and write that out and propose it to me. So once again, it wasn't a no, also wasn't a yes, it was, but let me look at it. So I would say neutral at the end, just kind of neutral overall, yeah.
Well, so the question of district versus state charter schools and CSD's obligation for the district schools is kind of a confusing. That's where I see the biggest confusion is what are they obligated to support for? And I mean, I'm sure certain things we want CSD to support all charter schools in. And so that's a place where I would love to see a real distinct, what are we doing for
Like it's
district?
technical assistance.
Mhm.
Support when and then they get direct,
Yeah.
getting it written out. I think that's what we ultimately what I think the perception is like, well, things are kind of working fine now.
Yeah, of course.
Why we got to change anything? Like it's working fine. And we're like, no, hold on. Like there's still quite a few things not working well, but also whatever is working well, let's codify it. Because just because it's working well right now no, it's right now it is a personality thing. If it works well or doesn't work well, it can be very much linked to personalities. There's nothing requiring working well. So that's the other part that we're really trying to like hone in of like, please help us write out what's working well. Like, let's take what is good and let's make it to where that doesn't have to be fought for every single time. There's new commissioners, there's new secretary, there's new director. Like we shouldn't be that baseline stuff should have all be set. So that was the main purpose of what we're trying to get through to her. And I think that was maybe the only thing that she really liked was like, okay.
Well, I do think the conversation about the audit piece, I think that was something that she didn't understand, but I think she was interested in what those ramifications might be for schools to break away from as a subunit of PED's audit.
So still looking at all those angles.
Surprising that
I don't think we're at a place where like PEC, I think what we've already discussed and voted on as a PEC, I don't think it changes anything right now. I think we'll be proposing additional things to discuss next month, but I don't think our stance is incorrect. Like, I don't think we need to go back and look at what we're
Right.
proposing at this time, and we'll just add to it, that extra piece.
Right.
But I still think we're not in a space where we need to really reconsider our own stance yet.
Right. Or ever.
I mean, I always, like, we talked about, like, if they have a counter proposal, we'll consider it.
We'll look at it.
We'll look at it, you know, so that's where we don't know, we haven't gotten anything. Okay, subcommittee process plan update. So I started working with Julia more, with Bridget a little bit more, mostly Julia, to try to start creating actual language, documents, things like that to help really formalize the subcommittee process. However, I won't be proposing it as like a formal vote yet because we're still learning so much right now. And I don't want to create a policy that needs to get changed because we need to change things. Like right now we're in a space where we're trying to figure out what's working, what's not working. And I really want to give the chairs of the subcommittees the opportunity to figure out what works and doesn't work with this process. So we are starting to line it out. We're starting to like try to write it out to where it makes sense. We'll keep working with the chairs specifically and then the leads, like our staff leads, to make sure that the documents are updated to where anybody who wants to see anything about a subcommittee, you can go into folder 10 has everything you could possibly ever want to know. And you can go see it. Right now we do have it's not one page, but it's the one document that has all the subcommittees on it. And we're looking through that and we're recognizing that some of the topics are they're not quite aligned with what the subcommittees are actually doing. So I will be reaching out to Commissioner Obenshain, Commissioner Gibson about a template that Ms. Barnes created that would allow us to have more clarity on what items are in the subcommittees, where's their process, what is the subcommittee looking at with those items, where is it on a priority list, things like that, to where once again, a commissioner who's not a part of the subcommittee can easily go look at it and get any information you could possibly ever want without ever even having to talk to anybody. So we will do that, and I'll talk to you two specifically about kind of looking this next month and updating that in the subcommittee process, just so that we're very tight on exactly what's in subcommittee, what's being looked at, what is their priority, what's happening, and just make sure that's clear. But yeah, just so you know, I will, like, by the end of this year, my idea would be to propose a policy to kind of formalize the subcommittee process. I just am hesitant to do it in August because we need some flexibility, I think, right now to figure out what actually works best. Any questions about that? Okay. And then, yeah, like I said, folder 10 has everything. There's nothing that isn't in there. Everything's there. All right, and then the last one is a report from PCSNM. I'm wondering if Val or Matt are online.
Good morning, commissioners.
Good morning.
Hope y'all are doing well. So just a few updates. Glad to hear that you all are going to look at coming to the conference. I wish that it didn't overlap with the renewals. When we do the contract with Tamaya, it's whatever availability they have open for the next year. So that's just when it landed, was on that week. And then we lock in that contract as soon as we're done with the previous year's contract. So I'm super happy to hear about you all potentially moving your calendar so that you could come. So for some clarification, our conference is open to everybody, members, non-members, anybody, and everybody is invited to our conference always. And we have other events that are open to anybody, everybody, and we have been able to support the following offerings because of the CSP grant. So it's open to members, non-members, local, state authorized schools, everybody under the sun in the New Mexico charter sector. Our first one is the leadership retreat, which is Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of this upcoming week. We have 32 of our charter leaders that are going to attend, a mix of state and locally authorized schools, a mix of members, non-members, and we have some amazing presenters coming in for those 2.5 days from Washington, North Carolina, and California, who will be giving some great trainings on the operational side of charter leadership, their personal sustainability and energy and time management, as well as their building staff culture and climate within their school. So those are the topics for the leadership retreat next week. And then the other thing that we've launched is something to add on to our current mentorship program that is available to all charter leaders. And it's a new leader cohort program. We launched that yesterday, and we had 17 of our new charter leaders attend. And how we define new is they're either new to their school site, they're brand new to the charter world, they're in their second or third year of being a charter leader. So it's not brand spanking new, but just you would like to come in and just get some help from your fellow colleagues that are kind of new to the role, because it's a big role. And I've been working in collaboration with Dr. Russell, very excited about that, because I know that they're offering some new state charter leader head administrator onboarding programs. So we want to make sure that we're additive, that we're supplementing that we're not being duplicative. So that's been very exciting. And Dr. Russell and I have a weekly standing meeting now where we can touch base and see how we can work together and make sure that we're providing the supports for our charter leaders. And that is all I have.
Thank you. Any questions, Commissioner Ingham?
Yes, Valerie, are you guys going to do a charter fair at all this year?
The school choice fair?
Yes.
Yes, there are 2 of them, one of them in Albuquerque and one of them down in Las Cruces. And I can tell you when they are right now. And we'll be sharing a calendar with you all as soon as we get some of our events finalized. Then we can release all of these dates so everybody knows all of the stuff that we're doing and when. The school conferences, Albuquerque is January 24th and Las Cruces is January 31st.
Great, thank you. Any other questions? All right, thank you, Val, appreciate it.
No problem. Have a great one.
All right, last item, or gosh, almost last item. The discussion possible action to provide input to chair liaisons to speak on behalf of the PEC. If anyone needs that opportunity this month. All right. Now, item 18, PEC comments. No discussion or action taken. Commissioner Obenchain.
I am requesting that the policy subcommittee meet just briefly after the meeting so we can set a time to meet, a regular time. I know travel things, so if we could just briefly meet and then we'll set a date for our next meeting and then hopefully.
No action taken, Commissioner Obenchain. All right, great. Commissioner Taylor?
Can I ask for the same thing for the legislative, that we have come up with a date to meet, and Julia can attend that, right? Because I really want to get some verbiage down for what I'm gonna. Well,
Let's take this offline.
Okay.
Thank you.
So a question, is there a document that shows all the commissioners on which subcommittees somewhere? Is it in 10?
It's in folder 10,
Okay.
also online.
Okay. All right.
And Consuelo updates it however often she has to.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Any other? All right, great. That takes us to item 19. Any discussion of any new business topics for the next agenda that you can think of right now today? All right, seeing none, move to adjourn.
Second.
Great, we're adjourned.
Get together.